it's a really nice community here. I work with often at least two or three of my biggest competitors. If I bring a line on and they need it, or vice versa, or if they need underlayment or anything little, we all kind of call each other and work it out.
Hey, welcome to All Things Wood Floor. We talk a lot about hardwood flooring contractors, technical and sales topics, but we haven't talked that much about the retail end of our business. Today, my guest, Brad Rushing of California Designs. For a little backstory on today's podcast, check out Brad's articles here at Wood Floor Business. Just enter Brad Rushing in the search bar and you'll be good to go. Also, take a look at their beautiful showroom and website at California Designs. Check it all out as you follow along, and Brad shares his thoughts today with advice on how he inherited, owns, and operates a very successful and diversified floor covering operation. Many of our listeners are obviously the best and brightest retailers in the country. So today's podcast is all about you. Let's get to it. B-Rad, welcome to All Things Wood Floor.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Brad Rushing, CEO, California Designs, Palm Beach, Florida. Is that where Billionaires Row is?
Yes, there's a few of them out here.
What is that exactly? I skimmed over that.
Billionaires Row. I guess you could. There's Billionaires Row. There's about 3 or 4 different areas in Florida that are just consumed by, houses starting at $15 million, going up to, one just sold for $165 million.
Wow.
In Palm Beach. And I did not get that job, unfortunately. But I'm proud of the guy who did. But yeah, there's just, I guess you're okay with the heat. It's a great place to live.
Our buddy moved down there to Cape Coral on the other side. He said the same thing. Every house starts at $20 million, $30 million. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Now, is that? Sometimes I was on the Sun Coast. Is that where the intercoastal? Or you're on the Atlantic side?
Yeah.
Intercoastal
we're on
waterway.
The West Coast. Yep. Palm Beach County.
Okay.
More than the north end of Palm Beach County.
And how long have you been there?
Well, we have been in Palm Beach County since 1979. My dad started it in 79 in Boca Raton, Florida. And we moved up, he moved up, I was about 7, to Juno Beach, Florida, which is kind of at the top of Palm Beach County. And that's where we've kind of been. We've been a couple little locations all through there. We've always found our home on here it's called US Highway 1. So it's it's not exactly the road that runs along the beach, but it's the next main one. So
can they drive on the beach? I've seen that.
There are a couple areas, one in Jupiter, and I think if you go north, like Daytona area, you could camp on the beach and drive on the beach and stuff like that.
So it sounds like you got about, family-wise, 45 years, 45-ish years?
Yeah, I think this might be our 46th year.
You that's considered second generation?
Yeah, yep.
Did your dad do everything? Carpet tile, vinyl? What was his gig?
Yeah, so we started out primarily in flooring in Boca Raton. And when we moved up to here in 91, he hired on a partner, and we did pretty much all your plantation-style shutters, your big, beautiful wood shutters. So we became that. We started taking care of, that portion. Then we got the 2 portions. I think he did a little bit of carpet too back then too, but it was primarily flooring.
So go back a second, because I had the same question that a million people are going to have. Born and raised the 2 generations in Florida, how'd you come up with California Designs?
Yes, that's a good question. That's something that we've always been asked. When starting the business, so most of the main trends, the trend setters came out of California.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of products came out of California. A lot of trends came out of California. So, my dad thought it was a great idea to call it California Designs.
I did retail in Florida 100 years ago, and they used to say, it's big. Anything in Florida is huge. They would say, those are the trend-setting states. It starts in California, Europe to California, across to Texas and Florida, back again. And like you and I had talked about one time, you had your Krispy Kreme and your Chick-fil-A 50 years ago, and we just got them an hour and a half ago up here.
I know. I'm still waiting on In-N-Out. We don't have that here.
And that'll go from California to you. So is most of your business after being in it this long, is it marketing? Is it referrals? How do you market California Design?
So I guess to start, I started after college in 2008. And I guess this was, I might have been worldwide, but it was definitely nationwide. It was a bad time in business. So right after college, I started with my dad. My dad's like, want you to be here. And, we don't have much business. So my business was actually going door to door to all the designers and builders and trying to tell them who we were and, how long we've been in the business and trying to get business. So once it started ramping back up, I moved over to the window treatment department first. So that's where I kind of flourished. And we do all the automation and at California Designs, we try to nail out all the different points, your carpets, your custom area rugs, your hardwood flooring, then finish off with window treatments, automation, drapery, wallpaper. So we kind of started branching out on that. And I forgot your main question.
Well, no, the interesting I get it, how you marketed it. It's interesting because from living down there than being in New England, I mean, everything is hardwood. It's a lot trickier to do hardwood. There's a lot of things people haven't even heard of. There's epoxies and resins and terracotta, whatever's down there. Yeah. So how is it really technically different to approach flooring as an installer down there with the slab and the humidity and the heat and everything else?
There's a lot of that when it comes to slab and the humidity and all that. We're either working with builders and we are trying to get our homeowners to understand that, especially the ones that come from your area. Because they're like, I want a nice solid wood flooring, a nice oak that's thick. And we're like, well, that really doesn't do good down here.
Right.
You need to have something called engineered wood flooring. You need that backing and that substrate under it to create a stable floor. And they're like, so I'm getting this much or this much wood flooring. I'm like, you're getting a lot more than that, but you have to educate on the type of wood flooring that works down here with our environment.
Ure. Is there in your area, is there a lot of second floor? Some places in Florida, they have it. Some places you never see it. Like upstairs.
A lot of second floors. Bigger houses, third floors. No basements unless they're building these guys up on hills or something. But we'll get second floors, and those work a little differently, but pretty much the same.
So, do you think because you've been in business second generation? Are there a lot of referrals that you were handed like a book of business?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Yep. And because of the way that my dad started running the business and I took over a lot of his ideals and way of working, which is pretty much, we'll go into it, I'm assuming at a later time, putting the customer first, making them feel very comfortable and trusting. We have worked with clients for 30, even almost 40 years. Starting for their first little home in Boca Raton to, the home that they're going to kind of finish out in. And I am, other than maybe just one or two, one of the newest employees at my business. We have my designer. She's 35 years in the business. Our secretary and assistant, she celebrated 25 years. One of our main installers is going on 32 years.
Designer, Marianne?
Marianne, yeah.
Yeah, well, so listen, for people listening, Brad, you contribute like a lot of me and other folks do to Wood Floor Business Magazine and write about business or write about flooring or whatever, might be apropos at the time. And I read a little bit about that and the structure of it. Not a lot of places have a long-term in-house designer person. Usually you're meeting them, you bring them in, and you got to kind of communicate. It must be nice to have somebody that you're on the same page with that long.
Yes, it's really nice, and she's so well versed. She knows the whole showroom. You know, she could help lead a client around the wood flooring, the window treatments, the carpeting. She specializes in the drapery department and works with our workroom to create the draperies and the soft treatments and everything like that. But yeah, she's been with us for 35 years, and you know, a lot of times we come in with homeowners who need that direction. Other times they come in with their designer, and it's like they're just talking shop, and they get stuff done a lot quicker.
Yeah, you have a lot of value-added things up here. They either sell, water tile or vinyl. The only thing extra people have up here, it seems, and it makes a lot of sense, are blinds, which is a big deal. And I think you guys do blinds too, correct? Give me the rundown. It's what? Floors, rugs, what were you saying? Soft something? I like that.
Soft treatments are like draperies. We're doing a lot of bedding right now. We'll do custom bedding. You know, they have a nice fabric that was handmade and something. We'll turn it into a bedding or, bed skirts, all that stuff, cornices, things to finish off the windows, draperies, things like that.
A lot of flooring installers, et cetera, there's a lot of contractors that'll listen and they'll think in terms of, hey, I'm an installer. This is what I do. And that's why a lot of people say, well, the industry is all dudes. Well, not when you get on the retail side. There's a lot of designers, a lot of women that own stores and shops, and they are smart to have rugs, treatments, blinds, windows, all these other things. Some flooring people will, sell a little extra underlayment or something, but being able to offer all that, that's all value-added stuff for you guys.
It's really nice, and it's really nice when we get builders and designers in, and they're able to bring their client in and knock out a big majority of the backgrounds of the home. Okay. And we set up our location so there's a big work area, conference table right when you walk in, and clean it off. And we make it the designers, the builders, so they can go and they can bring, their kitchen countertop or their counter colors and their, and put everything, and then pair it with our flooring, and then we'll grab a little sample of an area rug and we'll throw it on the floor they want. And then we'll do the shade option or the blind option. And we'll put that together and we kind of create the whole scenario for them. So
go ahead.
It's been nice. And we don't do any tile anymore.
Why not? I'd like to know, because a lot of people tell me that.
Yeah, we moved to a location that had a tile market in it. So we would do bathrooms here and there. We had a few lines that if you were doing anything with us and we had a little thing, we were able to knock out a bathroom or two, but we really didn't have the selection like a real tile place would.
Okay.
So we got rid of that, and then we started kind of working together. So the tile market would send people for us and we would send people for tile. So we kind of stay strict with hardwood flooring and vinyls. We're doing really good with vinyls now.
Well, it's nice to know that you can combine efforts with people, because you're going to give them referrals and they're going to get you referrals.
Yeah, it's a really nice community here. I work with often at least 2 or 3 of my biggest competitors. If I bring a line on and they need it, or vice versa, or if they need underlayment or anything little, we all kind of call each other and work it out.
You have to have a big warehouse, do you store rugs, store wood, store tile? We had tile place. It was a pain in the butt storing tile. Yeah. You can't have enough, and it breaks, and it's heavy, and people can't deliver it. Do you have a big warehouse?
No, okay. we have a warehouse, and we don't store much product. Okay. We work with dealers who store it in different locations, and we have a receiving facility for when we do take in the larger jobs we can't put in our warehouse. So yeah, that's pretty much. We have a little warehouse. Well, maybe 2,000 square feet. It's pretty good size, but we'll store. A lot of times, people need something really quick, and then permits won't be passed and things like that. So we get their flooring in really quick, and then it's 2-3 months before they can actually get it in. So we got to store it, or in rugs, things like that.
Yeah, at least your temperature doesn't go from 80 to -6.
No,
it's hard to run a warehouse up here if the poly isn't freezing, the pipes are. So got to be very careful. I have a question. But let me throw this one at you. Of all those products, what it costs the most to get out there and what's least? Like hardwood flooring is expensive, but so is tile and marble, et cetera. Like how are they based on your cost? What cost you the least amount? What cost you the most?
Well, we have, before my dad retired, he went, I almost want to say all around the world. He visited these manufacturers that really take initiative and time into creating absolutely beautiful floors. They have furniture grade finishes. You could inlay mother of pearl, stainless steel. You could do all these different things, these higher end things. So we have products for that client, like on your Millionaire Row. If they want something they want to put their family crest right when you walk in the house, we can give them that. We have burnishings you could do in it. We have all this different stuff. So that's probably our higher end. They were taking the American walnut and they were growing it in the mountains in Italy, where the best soil, I guess they could say, in the world. So they were creating this wild walnut. So it was like an American noce grown in Italy, and they're doing all these wild things with these different species and creating them. And so that type of company steps aside, and that's our higher end. We don't really believe in what I like to call like disposable floors that that have wear layers this size,
paper,
and things like that. Yeah, because we are a company that's been for 46 years. We want to have people have something that is going to last them. It's going to have quality to it. So, and we do a little bit of commercial business. We do little real estate offices or little medical offices. So we've been doing a lot more vinyl. We brought in some nicer vinyls.
Vinyl as in like sheet vinyl or as in like LVT, SPCs?
LVT.
Okay.
LVT.
Do you have any problem? We had a problem with this. Just you got to watch out for rolling loads, like people's chairs, and the floor has to be perfectly level, and you don't want to break the interlocking of that. So, I mean, they definitely they take a lot of abuse. That's for sure.
We try and look into the companies and see exactly how their product is, and from the engineering standpoint, before we do take them on. And we don't have many. We're not in the lower end to them. They still have still a quality product. And I think for a vinyl or a wood floor, it really doesn't. If what's under it's not how it should be, I think you're going to have issues.
Yeah.
So you got to make sure everything's under. It's fine.
So when all this started, generation, what do you know how your father got rolling? How it started? What it looked like? Was it out of necessity? How did it all begin?
Oh man, I do know he was running concerts for a college before he started.
Like
this.
That.
Yeah.
We all do something cool and go, I'm thinking flooring is my next move.
I know. I think he started working for a guy. That's what, and they were selling like verticals and carpeting, just like cheap carpeting. And he's like, come work for me. And I think that was the story on how he actually got into that. Right before he was doing the concerts, he was on the Bassmasters tour and all these crazy things.
Do you own a banjo minnow? I've seen those at 2 a.m. for like $1.
No banjo minnow here.
So.
He got into.
So was he kind of winging it? Like today, from what I see online and looking how you've prepared everything, I mean, it's built like a corporation. It's built like it has that look. Think big, be big. Did that all come from you, or did your father say, "Look, I built it into this. You take it from here"? What did it look like when you got it?
So it was substantially different, and how the back office runs, how. The theme and the whole atmosphere now comes together. I tried to incorporate more like corporate ideals and corporate themes to create a company that was a little bit bigger than how it is, which is just a 10-person family-owned business.
What are some of those things? Like what makes it look a little more, well, you say corporate, but like a business? We
never had a logo. gosh.
So you're
when I
kind of
first
branding
came-
it. Okay.
Yeah, I created a brand. We had Mary Ann, who actually, before she was a designer, she was an art major. So she drew up our California Designs logo, and I loved it. We were actually on the Vanilla Ice project, and I was like, I need a logo, and I need to put it on this thing. That was our first time, it was Vanilla Ice project.
Wow.
We did this logo, slapped it on some shirts, and went on this thing, and met Vanilla Ice, and then it just kind of took off from there. This is it right here. It's not
People are going to listen, so throw me out your website address so that people listening along will be able to jump on, because I'm going to go do that too.
So this website was created in the beginning of websites, I assume. It is CaliforniaDesigns.com.
Perfect. Not at AOL and
Oh,
I got to run it through a fax machine. And
yes, no. I don't even know if we were using it when we created that, or if there was an actual page. So, and I stay up with that type of stuff. I try and keep our website up to date, creating the new portfolios from the jobs we've done, and we try and keep all of our lines up to date on there. So it's not internet shopping by any means, but you're able to get a grasp of who we are and the products we sell from the website.
When did you, looking at it holistically, when you must have at some point said, well, I'm doing this now, we could change a lot of this. You must have looked at it pretty quick and said, we don't have to just do things this way. What was it that you saw holistically? You said, we got to improve this, that, and the other thing. What areas was that?
Well, I graduated with a small business and entrepreneurship degree. So I learned, my favorite classes were marketing. Right. I loved it. And I just realized, and I kind of learned how to create business plans, break-even plans. So I was able to kind of figure out, in the simplest way possible, new ventures and how I'd be able to actually get those things done. And whether it be in the business, whether it be with my employees, whether it be, portraying something to the client, you kind of start somewhere and figure out how to get there. So in the best way possible, I guess that's what I tried to do.
We got lucky. We both went to college in Florida, and I remember them saying, if you don't know I was a marine bio major. They go, if you know what you're doing, everybody goes, just, declare marketing. Only to find out later in my life that was the smart move. I've seen brilliant people can't run their business because they don't understand marketing.
Yeah. And I just scratched the surface of it. I mean, there's still so much you could do, and you're marketing everything in your life. You're marketing yourself, your business, So the one thing I wish I would have took more was probably communication.
Yeah.
That's another.
Well, you got it. People will say, wow, you got the gift of gab. You're a salesman. No, I read a lot of what you write. You're a purveyor of knowledge. You get out there, you educate the consumer, and they buy from you because they know they've done the right thing. You don't have to kick the tires. You don't have to sell them any junk.
That's what we try to do. So
one of the things that you wrote in Wood Floor Business Magazine, I'll quote you so that you can listen how great you are. You put, in order to have great customer service, you need great servers.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Somebody, I was listening to someone's, it was a business podcast, and I've brought this up before, but the guy said, listen, don't always just repeat that, the customer is always right and the customer comes first. It's ludicrous, because if your staff isn't trained, or they're rude, or they're obnoxious, you just failed. Train your staff, train your people, make them number one, and your customers, they will love to come back to you over and over again. You see that a lot, and I read some of the things you wrote online, how you put California Design together. They say, and you went to marketing school, I'm a marketing guy myself, you got three things. You got customer service, you got great pricing, you got quality. Pick two.
Yes.
There's one that always flies out the window.
Yeah, it's hard, and we get, it's any type of client, any type of budget, you'll get the person looking for the lowest dollar, and they need educated, they need educated because they don't know that lowest number is not, it might not be suitable for your house. It might not be the right thing for it. Yeah. And so education comes first. I like when I can educate a client correctly, and then I have them run with their imagination, and run with what they want to do. Let them lead from there, but they need to know that this isn't going to work for this atmosphere, or this isn't going to work for that.
Well, and that leads to what you had said. Great customer service is number one. But you know what? Because those other things you can solve with great customer service. They might. So, okay, I didn't get the super low price, but maybe we were smart enough to teach you that you didn't want a great price. What you want is a good quality product at a really fair price. The rest, which includes the quality portion of it. Mm-hmm. When I'm looking over your business model and all the things you've done, you had some really neat tips that which you're going to talk about soon, but a couple of the preliminary things you talked about with your staff and your people, going back to that theme of it starts with your team and your customer service. You wrote a lot about being fun and flexible. How do you work that with your people?
Well, being fun and flexible, it's in a bunch of different ways. I do like to, and we've all grown very close over the years. So I know everyone's family. They know mine. My kids come running through the shop on a daily basis. And, so the family style is there through the time we spent with these people. But I'm also a very curious boss. I like to know what my employees like to do and how they operate in the business, outside of the business. And by giving them the flexibility and giving them the understanding of there is life outside of California designs, and that's okay. They come back and they give me more than I guess a normal employee would give, because I give more than a normal boss would give, which doesn't work with every employee, but with mine, it's been able to work really nice.
Were those the same thoughts that your father originally must have had to carry employees for quite a while, and you've had them for a while? Were his thoughts on employee retention different than yours? Because it sounds like you have a definite focus on retaining your employees, the good ones, and keeping them there.
Yeah, I think he was definitely the one who started that, and he was always very empathetic to the employees, and I've taken that on too. Like, though being the boss today, I was the one doing the little grunt work stuff so my guys can finish bids and get out to, job sites for measuring. And, I was running fabrics to clients and doing that type of thing. So I do like to lift them up because we're also divisionalized. I mean, we have our window treatment department, wood flooring department, carpeting department, and I have put it in their hands that they run those divisions, So that's given them a lot of pride in it.
So what are those divisions, I assume you've probably got, someone's got to cover the technical aspects of each thing. Is that done like all by you or collaborative, or is somebody like really good at treatments and somebody's really good at tile? How do you communicate the technical aspects of what you do?
Well, it's a lot of the trade who I work with have been, our wood flooring guy has been in the contracting business for 35 years. So, I mean, he used to build homes, and now he does, he works or contracting for homes and different things like that. So he knows what's going on from the ground up, and much more than me. So, Marianne, our designer, went to design school. I didn't go to design school. I grew up in the business. I learned from her. She's my teacher.
She's the color expert, fabric design, spacing,
space creator, all those things that and even though we do we do the background, she'll get with clients and she'll go furniture shopping with them, and she'll help them pick out the couch that's going to match.
She's the one I break my cabinet door into, and.
Yes. Bring your cabinet door in, and we'll find.
You must see that a lot. They come getting out of the car. What? Get the cabinet door.
Oh man! Oh, they got the bags full of stuff.
Is anybody ever been? No one's ever brought like their dog in, and they said, I want my floor to look like Muffy, but I've had a lot of cabinet doors and all sorts of weirdness.
They bring their dog in, but I don't know if they've ever had anyone match something off with their dog.
It could happen.
It could happen.
Come down, they're gonna walk in there with my.
In this industry, you don't. Yeah.
Now, who covers sales? Each one of you, because sales are different, right? It's not always just kicking the tires. There's a lot of ways to sell. Do people come in like there's showroom hours?
Yeah, there's showroom hours. We're weekdays. 9 to 5. We're open on Saturdays. We're in an area though that we, I guess, fortunate enough to be with people a lot of retired and made their money, and now they're just living down here. So we don't have much of that weekend traffic where people have to work, or that after 5 traffic and things like that. So yeah, weekdays 9 to 5. Saturday we're open, but at the same time, and we had a couple golfers come in recently that didn't want to be there with anyone else and said, "Hey, I'll come in on a Sunday," and I open the doors to them and a designer, and let them shop around at their leisure. And so that's another thing too. We give our clients our cell phone numbers. They have an issue or a question, they call us.
Florida's different. Just so well, like in New England, right? We'd go down there and they'd say, "Kid, where are you from?" You'd say, Boston area. They go, "You want to run my company? I'd like to go fishing." Here we go to work, we get home, we rake the leaves, we shovel snow, we work. And when I lived down there, people are like, "It's 4, man. I'm going out to the causeway. I'm going shrimping. I'm going to go to my boat. I'm going to go hunting." People in Florida love to recreate. It's just, whether you're 16 or you're retired, it doesn't matter. You're right. And they want to get their house in order, prepared, look good to get back off to what they were doing. That's why so many people move there.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it is great. On the weekends, we go paddle boarding to this little island and we cruise around. It's a good time. And
this is
boating, golfing, all that.
Well, that's a good lead into my most important question of the podcast is, reading back in one of your articles, the hell are you doing serving soup to people? I read you go, you said, "We had some people in." I'm like, soup? On the coast of Florida, who has soup? Are you serving on an airplane too? What are you thinking? Tell me this soup story.
It was one of those cold winters. Yeah.
How'd you come up with this promo? Where did this come from?
Well, she brought her soup.
Oh, then you have to have it.
Yes, yeah. She's an Italian lady, and my mom's side of the family is Italian, so we kind of concluded, started talking about that and talking about cooking, and we were designing her home, and she came in with her kitchen cabinet and the countertop and
soup,
a giant thing of soup. So what are we going to do? We brought some bowls out and we all had it, and it was great.
It was great. Let me ask you a question. It was great, but when she left, did your mother say, "Nah, not so good"? My sister-in-law's Italian. That's all we ever hear.
It was the best soup I ever had. Gotta give me the recipe.
I love it. That's so great. So I wanted to ask a couple questions. You wrote the piece in Wood Floor Business, and people can always go to Wood Floor Business Magazine, and they can throw in the search box Brad Rushing, or they can whatever. There were 4 points that you made. I kind of like to dust over them because I thought they were really important. It was about operating a business and how you run your business. Give me a little bit on each. The first section was act like a coach, don't act like a boss.
Yeah, act like a coach. I am a big, weirdly enough, for being in Florida, I'm a big hockey fan.
No, it's a Panthers. Oh, God.
So I won't say Panthers.
It's a Panthers. I get it. I'll live through it.
But a coach helps the players be the best they can. I'm running the business, but they're running the business. They're the ones getting out there in the field. They're the ones working with the client. I do as well, but being a coach and being able to lift them up so they can achieve their greatest potential, I've felt, has been the best way to conduct business and be successful in it. Doesn't always work with every employee, but for the ones that I've had, it's really helped.
I trained a couple guys down in Jacksonville, and they were the greatest guys, and they bought me this really cool hat that said "Boss." I was so uncomfortable wearing it. I'm like, I don't, you just said, and I coached soccer for 35 years. Coaches are leaders. I don't have to be the superstar. I want to be the leader. Be the leader, like you're saying with your company.
Exactly.
I don't have to. I'm not boss. I'm the head of all this, and I'm here to help you. I like that you take that leadership approach.
Yeah.
What is it that works with people that are just born to lead? Because they want to. First of all, you took over for your father, and you're like, "I got this." And I'm sure people are like, "Oh God, the kid's coming in, right?" But
yes.
But you didn't come in like a guns a-blazing. Listen, I'm going to show you how it is around here.
Yeah, no, a lot of it started with curiosity and learning who they are and how they do things, and kind of figuring all that out. And And then I guess from there, you could say that's where I started coaching, and that's where I started motivating, creating off of their style. And it's not easy. I mean, all of them have been in this business for a very long time. So they have their ways of doing things, and to trying to bring more corporate aspects in a little family business, it does, you have to change things here and there, the way they work, the way they get things out, their letterheads, they're the smallest little things that help a business look complete. So, that's tough for an old dog,
Right.
Not to say old dog, they're younger guys, but they're not 39, so.
This episode is brought to you by Odie's Oil. Developed by a wood flooring pro, no finish is more safe, durable, beautifying, and versatile, with lower cost and higher profit margin. Experience the pinnacle of finish with free on-site demos and training. Learn more at odiesoil.com. That's ODIES oil.com.
Did your dad cross over? Did he kind of stay with you for an extended period, or did he just say, "This is yours"? How long did you two work together?
We worked together from 2008 all the way up through 2019.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. And I believe your father's not with us any longer, correct?
Yes, he isn't. He isn't with us anymore. He got diagnosed with pretty wild brain cancer that he did defy the records on. But he was an extremely healthy man. So that happened in 2019, and it was always the plan for me to take over. But this man would get on his bike and ride 50 miles in the morning before coming in work. I mean, this guy was a powerhouse. So never thought, and he didn't have any. He was, I think, 73 or 74 at that time. And he still loved working. He loved his clients. The business ran itself. He had his 3 or 4 builders and maybe old clients that he just kind of had a great rapport with that he still worked with, and then I would say from probably 2013, 2014 till 2019, I was managing the business. I was doing the things, and I was kind of letting him, take off early. He had a little lake house in a place next to Sebring, Florida called Lake Placid that we just loved. You go out there and go bass fishing.
Sebring an island or not an island? Is
What?
Sebring an island? I think that's in the Carolinas.
No.
I got you. Okay.
Okay, it might be. There's a bunch of Sebrings, but no, it's maybe an hour and a half south of Orlando, smack dead in the middle of they have the Sebring 12-hour race there. That's a big one.
That's good you had that many years to work with you. My dad came in at the end of his very long trucking distribution, career to working with me in my little floor store, and it was great. We really bonded over that. We were very dissimilar, but working together, we realized we're both business people. We like to sell and help people. You're right. I think that's good that you had that opportunity.
We did great. The whole I don't work with family stuff. We got along so great. It was a really great companionship. We fed off each other. We're a lot the same.
When you're this comes to your second portion of that article is when you're working with family and you have these people that basically, if you listen to what you're saying, they become family. You want them to become family. Like, come be part of what we're doing here. How do you find those people that you typically will want similar values? The real honesty, integrity, work hard, have an ethic, all that. How do you hire people that have those similar values to you?
Luck.
Yeah, right.
The newer ones that I've had to hire, we went through the process, whether it be Indeed or any of those types of recruiting companies, and we have found great employees through that. One of my greatest new employees who manage my window treatment installers and all that, and he's running the show now. I found on a recruitment site. Majority of the other ones came from my father, who did them. But you kind of, I want to say it's not. My interviews aren't your normal interviews. It's more of a conversation like you and I are having, and we're getting, and we were able to. Our carpet guy was in the business, came here from Ireland, 1985, and shortly after he got into the carpeting and flooring business. So, and he got to a point where he just wasn't happy at the place he was at and looking for more work. And he was amazing. He was such a great guy. So I knew he would be a great candidate for the company. Working with reps, that was another way I was able to find great people, because my reps knew who we were and how we were. Yep. And they said, Brad, you need this carpet guy. I think I got a guy who might be for you. I think he would be awesome for you. So shout out to the reps out there. They really do more than just take care of the product.
You're absolutely right. As a distributor, we always said that, well, you sell your wholesale, but some people, you sell to contractors.
Yeah.
I've spent years knowing all the contractors, giving them leads, like, go work for this floor store. And the retailers are like, oh, I didn't know we could do that. Sure. How many installers do you have? None. Their brother-in-law, their father, their cousin. You can, and by the way, nobody ever talks about reps. I have a new place that I've opened, and I'm like, I want the reps to come in as often as they like. They're there. They want to tell their boss they're helping. They're on their own dime, and they want to share their product and their information on your behalf. That's free education right there.
Yeah.
Don't you find it's what's easier, letting somebody go, firing them, or hiring them?
I'd say letting someone go.
I'll tell you. My thing is, if it's time to go, it's time to go. If it's not, because you don't want to let somebody go that you're absolutely working so well with. That's usually cut and dry, but the hiring process. It's other than, like you said, unless you get a referral, you don't know what you're getting.
No. And, we have great versatile people. So, my carpet guy can run the wood flooring as well. So though it's going to be too much work for him, he's able to pick up the slack till we find the right person for that place, So though it is hard and weeding and it's a lot of time and interviews and coming back and trying to find the right person that's going to fit the match, because they do become family. They are going to become part of the family. So I want to be able to hire someone that's going to meet the same values and have a similar outlook on life, I guess you could say, as the company. And there's been times where that someone needs to go, whether they're doing something that's totally going against policy or whatever it is.
It's just not a fit.
Yeah, and then there's the times where there's a great person that's just, he's just not making up with the sales. He's just, there's a few things that are off that aren't able to keep on, but you love them. They've become family. And that's why I think it's really hard to say, you're great in these things, but these other things are just not there.
You know what? Even you are letting them go off to do things that they're probably far more. Everybody's got their talent. They'll be far more accomplished at it. Sometimes, I've let people go, wrote them a letter of recommendation, and in a year they've come back and go, I think I want to come back here. And then you find that and you make that work for them. I've had many a time. I don't think you can ever hold it against anybody for moving on, making their life great, going off. Like you said, you're sharing those similar values. If you fit in here, you fit in here. You don't have to be perfect.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
How do you, the third part of your article, how do you make that work environment flexible? Because I saw some things that you wrote about where you really go out of your way to make the work environment flexible for everybody.
Yeah, flexibility, comes in times of need where, like I recently, our bookkeeper, she was trying to get over the doggy gate and tripped, and the dog was right there, and she just shattered her whole knee. And, it was a horrible scenario. And there was no coming into work for a while. And she just came back. I swear this was the start of summer last year when this happened. No. We just got her back. But we moved her whole office to her house, and we'd send ourselves back, guys or myself back and forth if we needed to do stuff. Bookkeeping, for the majority of it, is on computers online, so that was able to work, and we made it work. We made it work for, 8 or 9 months, and she was very thankful for that. Things happen in life. You got to make it happen, and that's where the employee comes before the customer. I'm so sorry. So-and-so had a passing in the family, that he's out this week. I don't know what to, I'll call on this for you, see the update or anything I could do. But you need that flexibility to allow people to have their own lives, because I'm not their own life. I want them to love to work here, but not.
Do you have people that are there all day and the others are out in the field? Is that of all the employees? You don't have, are all 10 there at once, or they're all, or do you have outside sales or somebody on the road, or is it everybody's there?
No outside sales. Our salesman will do, say we're on a job site in a nice neighborhood and there's a new build going up. We'll run in, talk to the general contractor. What's going on? Do you need these types of things? And we've been able to meet new builders or designers or clients, just kind of popping in places as life goes on. So, our salesmen are out frequently. They're out on job sites bidding or checking on job sites, making sure the installs are going well. And we have, at all times, maybe just 2 or 3 employees that are actually in the showroom at all times.
Now, in the fourth part of your magazine article, other than, serving Italian soup, what else do you do for the workplace to make it an enjoyable place to be?
What do I do? Well, I do a lot of outside activities. I like to get my installers together. We'll do the escape rooms. Cool. We'll go golfing. Next month, a couple of them love shooting. We're gonna go to the gun range and just have some fun. And the escape rooms have been so much fun because we've been able to kind of solve problems that aren't window treatments or flooring. And we all leave and thankful we got out of that dang thing. So. Yeah. It's helped kind of, grow us to get closer and we do, if someone's birthday, we usually don't go out for birthdays. We'll usually have a nice birthday party we'll all sign a card, little gifts, bring a little cake and just try and make everyone feel special.
Yeah, I think that's a good call. So I don't know if I covered this with you, but we've said, you're in a family business, but how were you growing up in it? Like how small were you when this was all going on? When did you pay attention to it, or were you always there, playing with the tile and the blocks and the carpet and the whatever?
I think I remember I was like 7 or 8 years old, and I just got 2 little green iguanas, and I was running. I was like, "Dad, look at these!" And one ran. I lost that sucker in the woods. Never found it again. We moved from that place. There was no remnants of a lizard, but so I grew up in the showroom, in the business, never really knowing what the heck he did. I was like, oh, these are cool carpets, flooring, it's fun to run through, that type of thing. But then high school in Delray Beach, college in West Palm Beach. And I used to go up and, if he'd get done with work, I'd get off of school. We'd go and get some food, and we would just talk about his business and what he does. And I always loved the way he worked. He was able to have a great schedule. He works hard, but he's not married to it. He was able to. I started to like the business. I thought it was really cool, so I gave it a try after college. And
running the business, or did you have to go install and do the physical work too? Did you have to do that part of it?
Yeah, I've done a lot.
Oh, okay.
I've done a lot of it because we're really seasonal down here. For our new builds and remodels, it's a lot over the summer. They want their houses ready for our season, November to whatever, May, April. But the November to April area is when everyone comes down and they want to redo 1 room or 2 rooms or do the floor. So, those are our busier times.
Now, family business. You have a young daughter?
I have a young daughter and a young son.
How old?
My son's 1.5 and my daughter is 3.5.
They slinging flooring yet, or are they over at the shop? They just show up after kindergarten. Like, you got them driving a truck yet? What's going on?
No, not yet. Unfortunately, I'm gonna get them in there. No, they love the shop. They got all these little beanie babies, and I got this thing that we transport the flooring in, like the samples. So I'm running them around the shop, and they're playing. They love everyone who works there. Not much gets done in those hours because, boy, at that age, they're little, they grab and they bring something here, drop it because they found something new. So they like to come in. They don't want to go to daddy's work.
So if they take over the business, are you going to let them go to PBU, or are you going to send them over to like Tampa where they got a good business college?
Oh, well, They probably got a good business college, but unfortunately, lately they don't have the best hockey.
No, well, yeah, because you're
kidding. They have a really good
listen,
hockey.
my sister's not happy about the Panthers. She's a giant Bruins fan, and I remember her going, "Not the Panthers, please, not the." I have a joke growing up, right? Oh, it's like having a hockey team in Florida. Well, they got them.
They got them, and we're good.
Well, then what's your football? You Jags or no?
No,
that's a tough
one. I'm Dolphins,
Yeah,
you know. But my carpet guy, he is from Buffalo, so I love the Bills. I wanted to see the Bills win or make it, and so things like that. What are you going to do with our? Maybe one day we'll be like a diehard Dolphins team again. Though.
Hey, listen, if it wasn't for the Dolphins, I'm a Patriots fan. It was forever.
Yeah.
It was great until they started. They're the only team that whomped Tom Brady every time he showed up. I was like, I can't believe the Fens squished the fish. Can't you beat these guys?
It's funny.
You know what they used to do? They used to make them come up
here.
here when it was cold, and we could go there when it was warm, and they switched it. And I swear that screwed everybody.
Yeah.
It works out. So you got all that going on. So the kids aren't quite, ready to come on up through the ranks yet. But
no.
how's it? What do you think in 45 years? How much has it grown? Did it start out with like your dad was in like a van, and then now you've got like you have vehicles on the road and all that cool stuff?
Yeah. We have 2 vehicles right now on the road. I mean, 2 company vehicles, and then we got little signs on all the salesman vehicles, things like that. I guess maybe 5 or 6 total. So I've grown it in that aspect. I've grown it in the marketing aspect. I've created an internet presence. I've created your social media type presence, which I like to get on a lot. I'm starting to try and do a little bit of getting on there live and showing my face and talking with the installers and doing things that are just a little different other than just showing pictures of our finished work.
Was it originally a lot of word of mouth, and now you've kind of worked out the digital part?
It's still all word of mouth. I mean, we don't have any advertising money into magazines or commercials or any of that. I create my social medias, and I'm kind of, doing stuff with that's grabbing more designers and builders and clients through that. But other than that, it's just doing a good job and leaving a happy customer, and they're telling their friends, they're telling their neighbors, and that's worked. And that's the way my dad always did it. So that's how I do it. If we ever do make it bigger, which I don't know if I want to get bigger, that's something that maybe we'll cross that bridge one day, second location, things like that. But I like keeping it small, Well,
you grew up right there. So is it, do you have a good connection then, I would think, with the locals? They're like, oh, we know him. We know his family.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, all my friends, they become realtors, they become builders, so my little group has become people that have worked with me, who've stayed in the county and in the area. And so, yeah, I mean, it's a great community here. I'm a part of the little young professionals things here and there. And so I guess that's the type of marketing that I do, just kind of get out there and meeting people.
Is there anything you're kind of still doing from when your dad handled things? Or is it 100% change? Does some of that still roll over to you, or is there different parts of it that you might have changed?
I mean, a lot of the customer service, the employee retention ways that I've done, that all came from him. Gotcha. Everyone loved Ernie, was his name. I mean, everyone loved Ernie. There'd be people coming in, the house is finished, I stopped by, just come to give him hugs. He was such a great face to the community. And his sister, my aunt, up until about 5 years ago, ran the book since 1979. She was our bookkeeper. Whoa. So she comes in and does some quarterly stuff here and there, but we've allowed her to retire a little bit.
All right, I got one final question before all cool wrap up stuff. But in your article that covers those 4 points, so people should go to Wood Floor Business Magazine and see. You just put your name in, put Brad Rushing, and it'll tell you every article you wrote and everything. Cool. You mentioned in there you like to bring a Margaritaville vibe to your clients. What is I live down there, man. They used to have Jimmy Buffett for governor parties at every university. Oh. I don't know what half that stuff was about. The guy could have run for president of the state of Florida and gotten it. What is a Margaritaville vibe?
It is exactly what it is. How do you feel when you think Margaritaville? How do you feel when you have someone walking around with a parrot head shirt on?
Relaxed.
And you're like, man, you're relaxed, you're having a good time, you're happy. He's selling shirts and good drinks, but I'm selling wood flooring and blinds, but I want to create that feel. It's more than just a store. It's a feeling you're going to get when you walk in here, when you walk into my company. And that's the feeling you're going to get. I want to have that smile when you're having the service. I want you to have that same smile and feeling when you're telling your friend or your family about how good of an experience you had with us. So I guess that's kind of it, kind of creating. And I made the logo fun. It's very California-esque. And also it's a giant investment when you're doing these homes. So you got to create some sort of relaxing standpoint. It doesn't always need to be stressful. And there are two types of businesses that run in this company, and there's two types of clients too. A lot of people operate in the more high stress realm. So, which we don't always do well with, but we're going to give you a great service, a great quality product, and it's going to have a Margaritaville vibe. Yes, you can say.
We're not saying everybody to go drink margaritas and drive all over the highways, but I'll tell you what, go relax, have a good old time.
Yeah.
All right, I want to give you some wrap-up questions that they're kind of quick-fire questions. Typically, we answer them as quick as we can, and some of them I've kind of worked on. One last question I was wondering is, when you do the hardwood flooring part of it, is it all pre-finished, or do you offer unfinished?
Majority pre-finished. We very little is the unfinished. We have a great company down here that really specializes. We work with a lot, but they specialize more in the pre-finished.
So do they go out and they offer, like, on your behalf, here's the wood, here's the finish I'm going to use, or do you say, on this floor we would recommend this finish or that? Do you leave that to the contractor?
We'll leave that to the contractor, and depending on the time of the job and how they need it in. I've always grown to like pre-finished though. The way they're treating it and finishing everything, I've always thought is much stronger than the unfinished stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
And and so we've become more of a pre-finished, and we have a few companies that we work with that are a custom house, so we can give you that look. If you want something a little different than what the line is offering, we can give you that unfinished look that we're trying to create in a pre-finished product that's made and coated and created in an environment to create a stronger, durable floor. I feel like, anyway.
I hear what you're saying. All right, here's your quick fire questions. The first one would be, Brad Rushing, if you were not in flooring, what do you think you'd be doing?
Oh, goodness. If I were not in flooring, what would I be doing? Well, I could tell you things I've always wanted to do. I love cooking and grew up with my grandpa cooking I would love to host a cooking show.
Good.
That's something that would be really fun. I did, before I signed on with my dad, I just tried being an actor. I did a bunch of commercials and short films, things like that. I really enjoyed it. There's this much money in it unless you make it big. So,
then you set me up for the question no one ever answers. The question.
Okay.
I'll move it to number 2.
Okay.
In the daytime Saturday special Lifetime movie channel, who plays you in the story of you?
Oh, goodness.
What actor plays you?
What actor plays me? Oh gosh. Rest in peace, Paul Walker. Love Paul Walker.
You know what? We don't air the video of this. Yes, you got a whole Paul Walker look too. Dude was a great. He was a great actor.
I'm told I look like Ben Affleck a lot.
You know what? In the angle that you're looking at, people can't see this. This is quite a treat. But you got that whole who's the guy? Matthew McConaughey. If you turn this way, you got a whole. And you know what? If you don't have that Florida accent, by the way. If you threw a little of that in there, and you talk real slowly about cars and Cadillacs, you'd be good.
Oh, all right.
That's it. That's good. Okay, moving on. If in your world of mixed media, which you have so many things you got there, of them all, the wood, the tile, the vinyl, all this stuff, if you can only choose one, what's your favorite to work with and sell?
In my business?
Yep.
What's my favorite to work with and sell? Oh gosh, I really do love them all. But I started in the window treatment. I think it is so cool when I set these people's houses up, and I just ask them, "Hey, when you want your whole house to open and close?" And I set all these different automation systems in their house, and they're like, "Brad, that sun was coming in at 8 o'clock, right, and hit me in the face. I couldn't read my paper. I didn't have to do anything. That shade dropped on its own, and then right at the sunset, it opened back up again." I'm like, "Brad, this is the coolest thing." And it's like, yeah. So I love doing that. And then I don't know, you could drop an amazing area rug in a room and just change the whole look of the room. So I mean, yeah, I'd say probably one of those things.
Gotcha. Okay. Is there you have one like majorly challenging project or infamous or famous project that you've worked on that you remember?
One of my favorites was I did get to do one of the owners for the Florida Panthers.
Oh wow!
So that was really neat. I've gotten to do a lot of most of the professional golfers live down here. I love golfing.
Oh,
I golf a bunch. So living down here, you can golf.
You been to Kiowa? You been to?
I have been to Kiowa.
I've played Kiowa. Love it.
Yes. Did you go on the JJ Haynes trip? Is that when you did it, or?
No, I went down solo. Okay. You know what? If you tell them you're buying a condo, they'll give you free golf everywhere.
Oh,
so I went down with my
gosh.
father-in-law. But you got to be careful when you go to tee off. Don't whack a armadillo. They're on the tee boxes.
Oh, well, yeah. It is so beautiful there. I'd say that was the Kiowa Islands golfing is probably the nicest golfing I've ever done. That's beautiful.
In your line, or they flooring people and hardwood flooring people, we talk with a lot have their pet peeve. Is in what you do, is there one pet peeve, that one thing you're like, oh, not that again? What really ticks you off in flooring?
Well, I guess I could say you're always trying to educate the customer as much as you can. You're always trying to give the customer the floor and make them feel like they are right. How do you do it when they just aren't right? Right. And everything's right. And then we're calling you out to inspect the floor that's perfect, it's a floor's natural, but the sample was a little bit more taupe or a little bit more, it's like, this is a different lot, or just little things like
Unreasonable expectations.
Unreasonable expectations, I think. And when you're trying to knock stuff out of the park, it's hard to deal with the unreasonable expectations.
Yeah, I know I'm in trouble when they say, "Oh, I want you to come look at the problem I'm having, but you got to be here about when I have my coffee and the sun's coming up and I'm going to lift the shades." And you're like, "Oh, it's going to be that one spot in the sunlight."
Yes,
it's like Indiana Jones. Like if it comes through, a temple's going to open up. I'm going to see this great disaster of a floor.
Oh man, yep.
So, well, listen, I'll tell you this. In the history of all things wood floor, I've been told a million times, like when you do the Speedfire questions, just boom. You and I have just taken the most circuitous route to answering these, because that's the way you and I are going to do this. There's no way we're going to come up with Speedfire questions. So I apologize to my boss and the producer because we're chatty. But the final question I have,
all right,
because you have access to everything in your home, is there carpet in your home?
There is no wall-to-wall carpet in my home.
God bless you. I was waiting for you to say something. I'm thinking in Florida, oh, that's not a good place to have. You never know. They spray for ants. They spray stuff all the time.
No. Am I allowed to name drop?
Yeah, go right ahead.
I love my Bowen floor.
I worked with them for years. Way.
Yeah.
So you got is it a floater?
No. It was a glue down. We glued it down.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. Yep. We glued it down. It is, it's one of the hard waxes, so you got to put a little bit more love into it. But I love
their engineering and design in there is actually, they've been doing it forever. It's absolutely beautiful. Good for them.
Beautiful. Yeah. They deliver a very nice product. All their boards are long. I mean, there's a lot of really good qualities to that company.
I'm glad you name dropped, because now I'm going to call them and say, listen, We just talked about you. Would you like to get on the podcast and sponsor?
There you go.
For B-Rad and myself.
There's some great guys. I've enjoyed working with all of them, even when they switched hands to different distributors. And
and the industry's loaded with. There's like Cares has a reputation like that. There's a lot of big companies that have that have been in that forever. So I hear what you're saying.
Name dropping them, I think they're about to come out with some really cool new stuff I saw in Vegas.
You know what? Hate to tell you, you're probably going to be doing this another 30 years.
I hope so. I really do enjoy it. It's really great. I love working with clients. I love working with people. I love learning about my clients. They're so freaking cool.
They fascinating.
They are. I mean, the things, I've worked with directors and the professional golfers and owners of these giant companies, and it's kind of cool. They, every once in a while they'll open up and I tell them golf, then we go golfing. I've really got to enjoy my clients, and I've become close friends with you too.
That's awesome. Well, I'll tell you, Brad Rushing, California Designs. Thank you for joining me on All Things Wood Floor, and this is fantastic. I think we've done it. We've accomplished it. I don't know how much more there's left to resolve in the world. They get the thing in the Middle East. They get some stuff economically, but I think most of it we get covered. Right.
We got this. This is what it's all about.
Smart and handsome, all in one location. Look at us go.
I know.
Well, listen, I will chat with you. But again, thank you for joining me here. It was awesome, buddy. I appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me, Steve.
All right, we'll talk soon, buddy. Take care.
Right.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Thanks to Brad Rushing for sharing his insights with us. You can find Brad's profile from the 2024 Wood Floor Business Outstanding Retailer Awards and his article about employee retention in the notes for this episode. And thanks to our All Things Wood Floor sponsor, Odie's Oil, the wood floor finish that is safe and beautiful while delivering a lower cost and higher profit margin. If you enjoyed this episode of All Things Wood Floor, please don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe. Thanks for listening.